So I thought I'd just share a few tips that I know, a few things that have really impacted me that I've sort of learned through listening to myself and have really made a significant change in my life. Because I don't know, I was brought up with personal development, and personal development is all goals, affirmations, achieve, achieve, achieve. And I'm like, whoa, my brain stopped being able to do all of that. So I had to learn some new ways about bringing things into life and look at things a little bit differently. And one thing I found is that when we take off such an intense focus off of one thing in particular, we can create a lot more of what it is we're actually really looking to experience. You know, and sometimes we go on a bit of a journey and we're on a bit of a mission to achieve something or experience something. And we sort of, because we're so intent on what we're wanting to do, we don't always stay true to what it is. So it might be, you know, that you're on a journey of personal development, of personal growth, of finding more self-love. Yet you give yourself endless things to do, or you know, certain goals that you've got to achieve, or a certain sense of self that you've got to be. And we often put a lot of pressure on ourselves instead of allowing things to happen and take place. So it's about finding that balance between bringing in and keeping our awareness and our intention on that which we do wish to create and attain and experience in our lives, whilst also still being able to enjoy that which is also going on. That it's not just when we achieve that certain thing that we can enjoy it, that we can enjoy the journey to it also. And because ultimately we are the only ones that experience our reality. You know, we can all go to the same concert or the same show. We can all be at the same thing or be doing the same thing, but we will each experience it very differently because we've got such different belief systems. We've got different expectations that we may have had. We've got different ideas of what something might have been. We might have different you know, something can trigger us, and so those sorts of things can come up. But ultimately, our reality is only experienced through us. And so, and keeping, you know, we can create our own reality by staying focused, or not even focused, but just keeping our awareness on that which we choose. You know, we can say, one of the things that used to happen a lot is, you know, people say, you know, they're going somewhere and they want to experience something, or they know they always do something. I always use the glass because it's one I used to do, is the drop the glass. You know, I don't want to drop the glass. I don't want to drop the glass, or be at a party and I don't want to make an idiot, or see someone and I just don't want to speak about this or whatever. And we end up doing it. And that's so often because that is where our focus is. That's what we're putting our attention on, not what we would actually like to experience, but what we don't want. And so often we can create a reality that we don't necessarily want to experience, but we're still the ones creating it, and we're still the ones perceiving it in that way. You know, we can have days too where, and I'm just giving a few different examples at the moment of where we can create our own reality. But we can have days too where we are, you know, something can go wrong. You know, those mornings where you wake up and you kick your foot and you stump your toe and you're like, and then you go to the bathroom and there's no hot water, and then you go to put your clothes on and you spill something, and then it's just like one thing after the next. And we can have those, create those realities also, because we are so intent on, that's gone wrong, that's gone wrong, that's gone wrong. And so we keep creating all these things that sort of just go on this continual spiral down. And so what I'd like to do is sort of bring a bit of awareness as to how we can start creating a reality that we would like to experience. And two, that can get confusing. I'm going to have a breath that some of you guys breathe too. Sorry. But we can often, you know, we can create those things we don't want. You know, you look at, so say you've decided, say you're very wealthy, you've done very well for yourself, and you're very proud of that fact, but you've never been able to meet someone that accepts you for you, that they seem to always be about the money. And so you've got this idea of like, I want to create a relationship with someone. I want to be with someone who values me for me, not for my money. And so you've got this idea, you know, I'm going to meet someone that doesn't want my money, that want me. And then you meet all these different people, but because you might be, say, proud of the fact that you've earned this money, and that's something that makes you feel good because you've done well, that might be what you talk about. So those people that aren't really interested in money and that's not really what they're going for will probably walk away because that's what you're talking about. Those that are interested in money will stay. And so we keep them engaged and we keep, you know, this sort of interest and interaction going with this person, and we're like, oh, this is going really well. But ultimately creating a new relationship or connection based on money. And so sometimes the very thing we're trying not to create, we can really create. You know, there's so many different scenarios in which you can look at that. Anyway, I'm going to waffle if I carry on there. And two, you know, there's this, the karma comment, or the reap what you sow, or you made your bed, you lie in it, all of those little comments. And it's not necessarily that like the boogeyman's going to come and get you with karma. Like, if you do this, this is what's going to happen to you. But more of, too, from a conscious space. So much of what we create, you know, there's a lot to do with energy. Absolutely. Never going to deny that. Fundamentally believe in energy above all. However, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind play very, very key roles in the realities that we create. And so we might have done something that we might not be proud of, or something that we know we're working towards and we've had to give it a little bit extra. But ultimately, you know, this, you reap what you sow, or the karma situation also comes into the conscious, because we know what we've experienced, we know what we've done, we know what we've said, and we can then create beliefs and tell ourselves things about that experience. And so we can be sitting there and telling ourselves, you know, like, oh, I did that and that was really wrong, and oh no, why did I do that? It's probably going to come back to bite me in the ass. We tell ourselves how we feel about that situation. We tell ourselves how we feel in ourselves about that. And ultimately, what we tell ourselves in here is what we create out here. So even in the sense of you reap what you sow, or karma, often, yeah, things will come back. But that's because often of what we have told ourselves about that situation, the choices we have then made because of what we've told ourselves about that situation. And we act accordingly. Now, and also too, anytime we act accordingly to a belief that we tell ourselves, we solidify that belief. We give it a little bit more of a, yeah, you're right, into that. And that can be really debilitating also. Now, the other thing that happens is the neural pathways. Our brains are literally made up of billions and billions of infinite neural pathways. The more that we use a certain pathway, the quicker it'll become, you know, the quicker accessing wherever we're going to will become. It's sort of like counting to 10. The first time you do it takes ages, soon it becomes nothing. We can get somewhere really quick. And so the more we're repeating these neural pathways, or these messages, or these beliefs that we're telling ourselves, the quicker we're making these neural pathways work. So we might be experiencing something in life. Let's say you're looking to achieve something and you've given yourself a bit of a time date on it. Or you were really feeling like something was going to happen in the next couple of days, or you've been working really hard and you're ready to see that shift and that change. And every time it doesn't happen, you're reaffirming that. And so at the end of the day, it might be like, oh, it didn't happen again today. Reaffirming that neural pathway. Next day, didn't happen again. And we keep using that, and then it will become more frequent. So when we're thinking about whatever it is that we're looking to attain in our lives, these neural pathways will fire off, and they will take us to the quickest answer, which can often be, it's not possible, or it doesn't ever happen for me, or I'm just fighting a never-ending battle, or when's this ever going to take place? This isn't real. This isn't, we tell ourselves all of these things. And when we get that answer a lot quicker, the disbelief and the lack of belief, we believe that a lot more, and rightly so, that's what we're telling ourselves over and over again. And two, so if, and the quicker it becomes, so if there's things, that you find in life where you're experiencing recurring things in life, relationships, people keep cheating, finances, you just keep losing your jobs, friends, they never seem to be there for you, whatever it may be, health just never seems to get better. Have a look at what you're telling yourself about those situations, about those things that are in your life. Because when we look at what we're telling ourselves about that, we can then start to identify, okay, well, what are some of the beliefs that I've been creating by doing that? What are some of the neural pathways that I have been giving a real run for their money on and really solidifying in myself? So that's just sort of a quick tip. If you find recurring things happening in life, look at the feeling that that's giving you and see where else do you get that feeling in life. And is it all stemming from one feeling, of a feeling of not being worthy, a feeling of people aren't trustworthy, a feeling of everything's pointless, a feeling of it doesn't matter how much effort you put in, it never comes back to you. And see where you can then shift that feeling, shift that belief. And there are different things that we can go into a later date. Not going to get everything in today. And even intention is something I could talk about for days on end. So there's lots that I'll probably go, oh yeah, no. But also I'm hoping I'm still delivering the point and not stopping myself too quickly. Speak up if I'm doing anything. Oh, there's messages on, okay. Oh no, they're little people. I don't have my glasses on. Okay. Now, so let's bring it back. Have a breath back. Okay. Now, one of the ways in which we like to, well, first of all, we like to set goals as people, especially, like I was saying, in the personal development world, that was a huge thing. Set your goals, achieve your goals, must work hard, do this, never give up on your goal, stay focused on the goal, keep, and such an emphasis on this achieving and this certain thing that we have to achieve. But often we miss so much of the journey to experiencing that, to attaining that, because we're so focused just on that. And it's sort of like, the way I see it is sort of like going out with friends for the evening just to enjoy saying goodnight at the end of the day. Yeah, see you, that was awesome, bye, have fun now. And not experiencing any of the evening, any of the getting ready, any of the excitement, any of the joy that comes through the evening. And so when we set these goals and we only sort of see our happiness in this one goal and the attainment of that or that experience, then we can really restrict how much joy we bring into ourselves. We can really restrict how many opportunities that we can bring into our lives because of, whilst attaining that one goal. And often when we set goals, we have this idea too that we then have to have all the answers now. We have to know how we're going to experience it. We have to know how we're going to achieve it. We have to know every nth degree of what we have to do to get there. And it's very difficult to do because ultimately, we don't know what we're going to face on our path. We don't know what's going to come up in our journey. We can set ourselves on this mission and we don't know there's not going to be a tree down in that road. And if we've only got that one direction, that one path that we can take, and that's the only one that we can see and the only one we've envisioned, and then there's this tree down and there's a fire up ahead and there's a pothole over there, and we can go into all sorts of despair that our goal isn't achievable. that we're never going to experience it, we're never going to achieve it, that it's going to be so much harder than we thought it would be. And there's all these different things that can sort of come about because we're so fixated on this one direction. Whereas actually we could start that journey with the intention to begin on this path, and then there's another 8 little paths open up so we can explore and see what's going on down those and enjoy those. You know, there might be things that we just had no idea about. So be open to that, which path you're going to take to your goal, to experiencing it, and try to remove that fixation on that it can only be in one way. And also that it can only be one goal. You know, we might have this idea that, say, especially with the COVID at the moment, I mean, how much has things changed for people? So say you've decided that you've been working towards starting a shop for years, you've always wanted your own gift shop, and you just set on that's what you'd like to do. And then say in January of this year, you've finally opened that gift shop. You've spent years collecting all of the things that you want to sell in that shop. You've spent years planning, you know, getting the finances sorted and all the financial, and it's been stressful and it's been hard work and it's been study and it's been hours of travel and exploring in the internet and researching. And then you open your shop after 3 years of effort, and then a month later, the world shuts down. How devastated would you be? Because that one goal, you just shut down. But what you don't know is that actually you can then maybe start it online. And because of, you know, the world shutting down, you open up to that idea. Well, I always thought it had to be a shop so people really experienced everything, but actually maybe it could be online. And then you take it online and it booms and it opens up to a much wider audience, and you actually start doing way better than you experienced. But if you had stayed sort of true and intent on that one goal, that it had to be this, it had to be that, you wouldn't get that opportunity to see what else it could become. And so it's really nice to enjoy the journey as it presents itself. I know for me with, you know, a few years ago, I wanted to start just getting a little bit more exercise, being out in nature more, just sort of really enjoying my space. And, oh, sorry, I've just got, oh, okay, thanks, Karen. I'm just being told I'm not in the picture. Am I now? Am I now? Hopefully, not too sure. If you could maybe text me, Karen, and just let me know I am in the picture. Okay, I think we're good. And so, yeah, so I wanted to be out in nature more, and I started walking along the beach. I live across the road from the beach. I'm very grateful to live where I live. And I started walking up and down the beach each day, and I'd go for my little walk. And I started doing a lot too. I had a car accident a few years ago, and because of that, well, quite a few years ago, sort of 10, 13 years ago, and because of that, my neck can often seize up. And so about once a year, I would have a really major seize where I can't move. It's sort of pointless trying. And oh, okay, thank you. And so I'd walk each day, and because of these seizures I started stretching and being a little bit more aware of my body. I've got a big misalignment in my neck and different things, and so I'd go for my walks. And then my walks started to become stretching whilst I was walking. And I'm like, oh, this is nice. Started to embody the two together. And then I was also, you know, just in such a great space. I started coming into this really true space of myself and enjoying being me, which I hadn't for a long time. And I started feeling so happy, and so I started skipping when I was walking, and I would be skipping along instead of walking and instead of stretching, and then that turned into dance. And so now I'll dance along the beach. And if I'd set my goal and stayed to my goal of, oh, I'm just going to go for a walk on the beach, it would have never evolved. But my intention was to be present to nature, to feel good in my body, to feel comfortable and confident in myself. And that allowed me to go on this progressive journey, not through choice or through, I must do this and I must do that, but just through evolution of, oh, wow, this feels really good and this feels really good. And it allowed me to sort of come into that space in my body and in myself where it was so much more than I expected. The sort of release and the expression of self and the confidence in self and the happiness and the joy, like literally I'd be walking around like, I'd just be skipping everywhere. But to know, there's no way I would have danced on the beach years ago, and it became so much more than I ever anticipated. And so don't restrict yourselves to sort of limited goals, or it's got to be this or it's got to be that, because that really can slow you down. And plus, your goal might change, like totally different goal. You might have something totally new. You might open up to a new passion, and it just gets you thinking in ways that you never thought before. So a good way to, oh, sorry, give me a second. I'm just going to look at a note, see where my brain's gone for a second. Look, I've done it all. Perfect. So one thing that, let's just breathe. Sorry guys, I just have a breath. Hope you're still staying present with me. So one of the ways in which we can look to attain or experience certain things in life is by setting affirmations using dream boards. And they can often work and be fantastic, and we can gain a lot out of them, but often they don't work. I remember when The Secret come out and the law of attraction, and you got to focus on this and focus on that, and really good knowledge, and some things would, but some things wouldn't happen. And doing affirmations in life, and I did one for years before I met my ex-husband. I had a affirmation on my wall of everything I wanted in a man and who I wanted to be with, and I'd say this affirmation every night. And then I had my car accident, I moved to the UK, I met my now ex-husband, my husband at the time, and a man I spent many joyful years with, and he was everything on that list. He was everything I affirmed. However, we're obviously not together anymore, but that's not because he, let anything down, but my expectations, my affirmations, they were all based on him, who he had to be, what he had to do, what he had to enjoy, and none of it about how I would feel in myself, none of it about what I wanted to experience. It was all about him, and I put so much onus and pressure on this affirmation and this person for this relationship that I never even met, and there's all this expectation. They're like, I want them to be this, and this. But even when I got everything I asked for on that outer reality sort of affirmation, the reality of what I experienced was nothing similar, because I hadn't put any intention to what I wanted to experience. And sort of the end of my marriage was also a really big realization to that, because I remember thinking, but he was everything, but seeing that it's got to come from us, how we want to experience things, how we want to feel in ourselves. And so often affirmations and dream boards just don't work, and there's multiple reasons for that. Now, the first and the biggest is our belief systems. We can be doing affirmations daily, but we hold so many beliefs that we don't even know about in our subconscious that can restrict what we actually believe is possible. We might have a certain belief, or we might be doing an affirmation, we'd like more money in our life. And so your intention might be, or your affirmation might be, I'm so grateful I've got more money. or I'm grateful money comes to me. But so you're using money in there. However, you might have a lot of beliefs around money and what it means. You might have a lot of beliefs around and experiences from money not coming in. You might have a lot of different experiences about money itself. The reality of what it means. You know, if you were to get all of that money that you're putting out for, what would that actually mean in your life? And do you have beliefs around that? And so often we're not even aware of some of the sort of beliefs that we're reinforcing through trying to do an affirmation. And so it's really important to be aware of the belief systems that you have when you're writing an affirmation as to, you know, is this actually, am I asking for something I actually don't want? Because actually money to me, I think, oh no, it's bad, it's this, or whatever ideas you have around it. So one is because of our belief systems. And if we don't believe something, it's very unlikely we'll create and do what we need to do or say or be in order to achieve it. The second is being attached to a goal or a specific outcome, as we spoke about before. The third is so often affirmations come from a space of lack. Not because of, you know, that you're asking for something you want it lack for, but because often the reason we're asking for something is because we don't feel we have it already. So if we're asking for lots of money, it might be because we don't feel we've got any, or we don't have enough. So actually where the actual affirmation is coming from, its whole intention and whole purpose and energy behind it is that of lack, because we believe we don't have it, which is why we're having to do an affirmation about it. And so it's coming from this space of lack. I want more energy, telling yourselves we don't have enough energy. I want better relationships, telling ourselves we don't have good relationships. And that we don't have good ones. And so look at where the actual affirmation is coming from. And if it's coming from a space of lack, it's very likely you'll create the exact opposite of what you're looking to experience or attain in life. The next is we don't, you know, often, and going off of that, is we don't believe that we can actually experience it. The fact that we have to affirm something and repeat it in our heads over and over and over and over again in order to believe it tells us we don't believe it. So that can also be very damaging to when you're setting goals. The next is time limits. How good are those ones? Oh, yay, because we're so good at knowing when things are in our best alignment. Perfect. You know, like we might think, you know, go back to the cafe or the gift shop, whatever it was, starting this year, we might have thought that January is the best time to open and we've got to have it done by this time, and then look what happened. You know, we don't necessarily know we don't know what's going on in the rest of the world, what's going on for other people, what's taking place in society across the globe. And so we can, you know, we can set these ideas of these time limits, but there might be a lot of other things that have to fall into place before we can experience what we're to experience. And so when we put certain time limits on things and they don't happen, another great way to reaffirm it's not gonna happen. And so often with affirmations, they sort of give you more of what you don't want than what they actually do, and they're putting that energy out there. And they can actually be more debilitating to experience and attaining something than they can be actually bringing it in. The light on this just keeps changing. Maybe it's me moving. Sorry, just having a quick look here. And so basically, yeah, so most things, if we're asking for it, it's coming from that space of lack, because we don't believe that we have it. And also, when we don't believe something, it's so important, and I'm going to later do different things into the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and how they relate to each other, because it's huge It's such a key difference that we miss in personal development, in the world of understanding ourselves, in that self-growth, is we often go very much from this space and fail to see actually what we're telling ourselves subconsciously and energetically as well. And we can try and convince ourselves in here, but we'll still know too. So how can we then, I guess, it's looking at how can you then bring into your life that which you'd like to experience and that which you would like to attain without having a set goal? How can you bring it in if you don't have it set? How can you make things happen if you don't know the direction? It's sort of like, how can we do it without a space of lack? How can we create these affirmations without that lack? How can we create the affirmations by believing them without the time limits? And with all of the restrictions that come from affirmations, how can we sort of push them away and go, all right, well, how do we do this then? And the way I found was through intention, through what you truly wish to experience. You might say that you want money, but you don't want money. If you've got it in your wallet or if you've got it in your bank account, what's it doing? You've got it. What's it doing? It's what you want that money for. And you might want it for the bills. You might want it for a gift. You might want it for food, whatever it may be. However, if you are, say that's your goal is to have the money. Well, actually, it's not the money. It's the food, it's the gift, it's the holiday. Okay, well, what are they actually going to bring? Well, stability, confidence in self, enjoyment, relaxation. That's what's ultimately looking to be experienced. And so it's about removing the idea of that it has to be about money, or it has to be about a job, or it has to be about a certain relationship, or a certain achievement, or a certain experience in self, or a certain sense of self. Removing then what we see that's going to create. So from the money, it's going to create bills and this and this and this and this and this and this. But then what is it you look to experience in yourself? What's the truth of what you really wish to feel in yourself? So when we remove it from it being just about this one outcome and this one goal and this one path, and we start to see, actually, no, it's actually what I would like to experience from that being attained. Creating your own business. It might be that you want to create your own business. What's that going to bring you? Is it the financial freedom? Or what's that going to bring you? Time with family, confidence that you can support them, knowing of that. And it's about identifying what you're really looking to experience, because keeping it on that one thing makes it very hard to experience all of these other things. So yes, all right, we're getting it. Where are we at time-wise? I've got no idea what the time is. Okay. I'm going to try and get this in the 20 minutes that we've got left. And so when you come from that space of what you truly wish to experience, and you know what that is, then you can start to look at ways that you've got it in your life already. So I'm just going to have 2 seconds here. No, we've done that, we've done that, we've done that. Okay. So okay, this is a good example. So say you wanted to win the lottery, or say you just wanted more money or whatever it is, and you've got this one idea of how you're going to do it. You're really good at something, so you're going to create a business, or you designed this product, so you're going to start selling it. Whatever it might be, and you're focused on that. When it's that one path, we don't necessarily see, like I was saying before, the other options that are available to us. And we might believe, I've got to win the lottery because I want to achieve this and this and this and this and this, and I want to experience this, and I want to help them, and I want to do this, and I want to go there, and I want to build this, and I want to create that next business, and blah, 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 blah. When we go about that's what I want, and we're so fixated on that one path that that's the only way we can achieve it. If you just imagine yourself here, tunnel vision, you are focused, you are dead set on where you are going. Look at all of the opportunities that you're not seeing. all of the different things that could be coming into our life and offering us new ideas. And because ultimately, you know, you could let go of that idea or this one-track mind, and by resting, being a little bit more patient with yourself, you can allow that next boom idea to come into your mind. You can create that new invention. You can start that new blog. You can go off and create this new adventure. You can find new ways. You might actually realize that you don't actually want certain things that you thought you did anyway. So really being clear to what you want and what you want to feel in yourself can help you really remove those dead set goals. All right, let's get on. So how to actually set an intention. So the first things first, it's not coming from a space of lack. So the first thing is, you don't want it saying things like, I want to stop worrying. I don't want to do this job anymore. Any negative. You want to keep them out of the intention that you're writing. The second is that you want to sort of find, what is this? You want to keep it present. You know, staying present to that which you're looking to experience. So I enjoy, when you're writing something down, I enjoy free time. I experience self-value. I honor my health. Whatever it might be, keep it present. So I feel, I am, I experience, keeping that intention present. So it's something that you're aware of presently. The next thing is identify clearly what the intention is. Remove the goal and find that feeling that it is you're looking to experience. Is it more comfortability in self and comfort in who you are? Is it more self-value? Is it more time and experience with those that you love? What is the true intention of what you would really like to be experiencing? Say it's creating, you know, for me, doing this webinar, what's my true intention? It's not about my business. It's not about getting out there. It's about creating a space where we can each feel empowered in ourselves and have some tools to do that. And I mean, I know I'm not professional. I know I can ramble, and I know I, you know, have to check my notes and different things, but ultimately the intention is that people can see the value that they can bring into their own lives. And I'll never know that that intention's met or what happens from that, but I don't need to. It's sort of knowing that that's the intention, to genuinely share love, to create a world where we can enjoy and experience our own lives and our own selves. So identify what that true intention is, what it is that you would like to experience in yourself. The next is, this is the best one, is the gratitude for where you have that in your life already. Say you would like more money because that'll give you more time. Look for, where do you already have time in your life? Where do you have those moments that you can have 5 minutes here or 10 minutes there or a day to yourself? Find those times in which you can experience what it is you're looking to experience, and find where you have that in your life already. Self-worth, self-value, confidence. Look for the areas, if that's what you're looking to experience, then look for the areas you already have those things in your life. Because the more we, like I said, those neural pathways, the more we tell ourselves something, the more we acknowledge something, the quicker those pathways work. We operate, our conscious mind, our external reality, all operate from what's going on in here. So if we're creating new neural pathways of gratitude, of actually I do feel, you know, confident when it comes to dancing on the beach, let's say, or going somewhere by myself, you know, that they're things. So, okay, where do I have confidence? In those areas. And then, excellent, well, I actually already have this. So you're coming from a space of gratitude. And also, when we're affirming something that we don't believe, this is a key one, and I totally forgot it. Why things, you know, we affirm something we don't believe it, is because often we genuinely are lying to ourselves. It's like, oh, I have so much money, I have so much this, I have so much that. And it's like, all your brain internally is doing is going, lie, 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 lie. And it's like, okay, so if it's the money you're looking to experience or you want, but it's actually the freedom in time or the opportunity to go do something different, look for where you have that already in your life, so you can start being grateful for it now. And you're not lying to yourself. You're like, yeah, I do have a lot of confidence in this. I do have a lot of time with this. Whatever it might be. So don't lie to yourself and affirm or confirm. Allow yourself to hear and know the truth of the gratitude of what you already have in your life and the areas that you have these things in your life. I know for me, like financially, there's so many things that people could look at my life from an external perspective and go, well, you don't have this in order, well, you don't have that, you don't have that. And it's like, well, don't necessarily need to experience and achieve it all now. It'll happen when it happens. But I guarantee you that I am just as happy now as I will be when I have other things going on in my life, and when they are a part of my life. I don't have to wait for them to be here right now and for everything to happen right now in order to be happy, because there's all the things that are to come in my life. I have so much of what that makes me feel already, and finding that gratitude and genuinely feeling that gratitude for what you do have is one of the most powerful tools that you can use. Reaffirming, and then we act, then we speak. Magic. All right, so the next thing that you want to do is then look at, reflect on it. See where you've brought these things into your life. It might be that you're setting an intention into your day, and your intention might be to, you might think in your head that you're going to, for me, I have this all the time, especially because my brain doesn't necessarily operate at the same rate as it used to. And so I might have an intention of achieving a certain amount of things in a week, and it's like, oh, okay, I'd really like to, get this done, this done, this done. Okay, cool. Then I let that go, and then it's like, what's my intention? Well, I'd like to feel empowered. I'd like to feel accomplished. I'd like to feel purposeful. I'd like to feel practical when I'm doing these, succinct because I know I can waffle. There's different things that I'll feel. And then when I look back at the day or I look back at the week, and it's like, okay, what did I intend to feel? And it can tell me all of those things, and powerful, empowered, and inspired. And I might have felt all of those things the whole week. I might not have achieved anything that I looked to achieve. However, I experienced everything, and I experienced much more, or other things that opened up because of that. So really, it's not about having it all and doing it all and being it all now. It's about bringing those things into you now, or when you can. We're not going to feel everything straight away. We're not going to feel wonderful instantly. But the more you find that gratitude for what you do have, of what you're looking to experience, certainly the quicker it will happen. And there's different ways too in which you can use intention. I use it daily. I don't know if you can see over here. There's my little helping notes. And, I write my intention up there each night, ready for the next day. I'll sort of do a bit of a visualization for the next day about how I'd like to feel, or any things that I'm aware of that might be coming up, and I'll set my intention into that. And in the morning, I sort of see if that's still in alignment and set new intentions. It might be that you want, so, doing it each day, it really adds so much value. Might be that you want to have a certain relationship, a certain goal, a certain experience in self, a certain holiday, a certain person in your life, whatever it might be. And, the more you find, just totally shifted then. What happened there? And so the more that you, wow, how's that? Everything just went poof, totally out. So yeah, so different ways to use the intention. So it might be that you have certain things that you'd like to obtain or experience. So remove the specificness of it and bring in the intention. You know, if it's an intention into wanting to start a new business, what would you like to feel by starting that business? What would you like to experience in yourself? Would you like to experience that accomplishment, that pride, that knowing that, yeah, I am smart enough for this and I can do this? What's the feeling you want to experience through that? And you can apply this in every aspect of life. There's nothing that you can't put an intention into. A meeting, a date, a day at the beach by yourself, a meditation, anything. Set your intention. Really powerful. Cool. I think, there we go. Good old brain. Okay. Now, you know what? Another way, if you want to find what to experience or set as your intention, is one of the tools I used to use when I first started doing this. I'm like, what's going on here? And I just sort of see myself having a conversation with somebody and telling them about my day, and it would be like, yeah, I felt this and it was so cool because this happened and blah blah blah, and I felt this and I was so happy, and I'd sort of visualize this conversation with somebody at the end of an experience that I was about to have, and telling them how I felt in that time, and just sort of visualizing that conversation at the end of something. Like, okay, I want to have a really great day today, I want to feel powerful, I want to feel inspired, creative, whatever it might be. And you set that intention, and it's like, okay, well, you might be struggling. Well, what do I want to intend for today? Visualize yourself at the end of the day or the end of that experience, and what would you be saying about it? How would you, what words would you use? What expressions would you use? How would you be feeling in yourself in that conversation? And that was a tool that, I just used to use a lot, especially when I was first sort of understanding what was going on. It was like, that was a really key tool. Now, okay, yay. So I'm going to be sending out, sorry, it's pulling my socks up, it's a bit chilly. I'm going to be sending out a PDF, and I've got to work out how to do that, but we'll do that at the end. But it's basically a list of, it's just one page, simple points, thank you, Karen, of which questions to ask yourself when you're setting an intention. It's just a basic reference sheet. Underneath that are 2 and a bit pages of 4 columns of states of being. Different intentions you can set, different terminology that you can use to bring basically different feelings, things that you can feel. So you can go through and select which ones you want. Open your mind up to new language as well, because that's really powerful. And to be present to that some new ones might just pop in and you'll be like, oh, where'd that come from? I don't really think about my intention anymore. It's more of, okay, what's my intention? And it's just like boom, 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 and it just comes through. And I'm like, okay, cool. Be aware too, you might get some negative ones and you're like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I remember I had the message one day, the intention was to be callous. And I was like, where did that come from? Like, I don't want to be callous. And I tried to shift it and it just stayed there. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll just see what happens. I had to have a conversation that day, which I had to be callous. I didn't intend it, I didn't know it was happening, and it wasn't until after the conversation I look back, I'm like, that's what that was about. But that had to take place how it did. If it didn't, well, ultimately it doesn't matter why, but that had to take place. And it's like, sometimes you might get things that you're like, oh, I don't know that I want that to be my intention into the day. Go with it if you're getting it. Now, the other thing is our language. Be aware of the words that we use and the sort of ideas and the beliefs that we have around certain words. It might be that you want to feel power. It might be that you want to feel rich. It might be that you want an abundance of something. It might be, some words here we could use: money, beauty, health. There's so many things that we put sort of ideas on, these sort of areas that we want to look at. But what are our actual beliefs around those words? And so being careful of the language that you use, because it might be that you'd like to create something in life, and money's a great one because so many people have so many different beliefs around money. When you say money, being aware of the millions of different thoughts that are firing off. When you say I'm smart, are you actually triggering times in your life where you felt unintelligent, where you doubted yourself? If you want to feel powerful, are you also, what's your sort of idea of that word? Is that actually a scary word, powerful? Is that something where you think if somebody's powerful, then they're not kind or they're not understanding? What are your ideas to your words? So whatever it is, and I mean, obviously the vocabulary is quite extensive, so I'm not going to cover every word here. However, be aware of the language that you use and ask yourself as you're saying an intention or writing something down or setting something in your mind, do I have any sort of beliefs around this word? And am I saying, I'd really like money, but the whole time actually, no, I don't, because I hate money and I think it's the root of all evil and all people with money are mean. What are our actual beliefs around it? Because when we go creating those things from a space where we think we're going for something positive, but we have all these negative beliefs around it, we can actually often experience and create the exact opposite of what we're looking to experience. And two, remember that when we set an intention, it's not just the only way, there's not just one way we can experience an intention. It might be that your intention into a day, I normally have at least sort of 10 or 12, might be to feel free. And, you might think that means that you've got lots of time or what have you. But it might be you end up with no time in that day, but you have a conversation with somebody and you feel totally you, and you have this conversation, you feel so empowered, and you feel so grateful that you were just you. And that's what offers that free feeling. Might be that you've set free into your intention as in time, but free can come in many different ways, as can all experiences. So reflect on the day, reflect on the experience, and ask, where did that come into my life? Might have set free to feel free in my day with time, but actually I got freedom in myself by being me. And so look at where other areas you're bringing that intention into your life, not just the one that you're expecting. And two, if you want things to happen quickly, sometimes we do want something to happen quickly. Guarantee you, the quicker you let it go, the quicker it will happen. Because the more we're focused on something, like we can be like, oh, I really want this to happen now. I really want this to happen now. We're not actually giving ourselves any space to allow these things to happen. So if you really want, and we're sort of, every time we're saying it's got to happen now, it's got to happen now. When it doesn't happen now, once again, just reaffirming that still not happening, still not happening, still not happening, coming from that space of lack. So do be very aware of that which you're setting out there, and if you do want it to come quicker, the quicker you let it go, and the quicker it can come into you, because you don't have that attachment to it. Awesome. I think that's pretty much it. I just want to see the time, because boom, smashed it. Totally stoked with that. 3 minutes to go. Here's me, Mrs. Rambler, and let's hope I got something useful in. And gratitude. You want something to come in quickly, be grateful for where you already have it. If you're like, I really wanted to start whatever it was, and that was going to bring me this sense of joy and happiness, or this feeling of connection, or lack of, you might feel lonely and it's going to bring you that connection with someone, and all of these different things, and you're expecting it to come in quicker. Once you've let go of that and stopped attaching to it, but then found the gratitude for where you already have it in your life, that's what you want to focus on. So if it's like, I've got to get this, I've got to get this, I've got to get this, shift it. I already have this, I already have this, I already have this. And visualize it each time. Feel into that space, what it feels like, how it feels in yourself, and where you do have those things, because the sooner you do that, the sooner it can come in. So that's really cool too. So gratitude, letting things go, being clear with what your actual intention is, releasing the idea that it has to be one set outcome, one set goal, one set path. acknowledging where you have beliefs and different ideas around things. Acknowledging if you actually think you're lying to yourself sometimes when you're saying certain things. All of these things can make such a shift in things coming into our life much quicker, with a lot more ease, with a lot more grace and flow, a lot less got to achieve and trudging and exhausting ourselves, and can bring us into a really beautiful space of embracing abundance of all that we already feel and have in our life, and allowing so much more to come in. So yes, cool. I don't know how, because obviously I've just talked for the last hour and I've not done the Facebook Live before, so I don't know if there's a way of saying hello, saying goodbye, how to wind this down. I am going to say goodbye and then try send this PDF to you. So if you maybe want to write your email, that would be fantastic. Could each of you just put your name or write your email address in the comments, and then I can go back from there and send it all to you. That'd be really cool. Awesome. Well, I want to thank each of you for your time, for supporting me on my first live event. Hopefully it was valuable and purposeful for you, and even if it was just one of the ramblings that made sense and you were able to gain something from, then fantastic, and hopefully you can join the next one. Or if it's something, I'll be turning it putting it onto YouTube. If it's something where you're like, oh, that was really cool, that would really help my friend or whatever, then you can email on the link, or delete it from your playlist. Whichever feels truer. But no, thank you, and thank yourselves, and have a beautiful evening wherever you may be, or day wherever you may be. I'm looking forward to getting all rugged up and cozy and enjoying a relaxing evening. So thank you again, lots of love, and know that you have every choice to create your reality, to create the way you wish to perceive it, the way you wish to create it, the way you wish to experience it. So enjoy your life, and if you've got any questions or anything you'd like to know, go to www.translatingtruth.com or support@translatingtruth.com. Thank you again, and much love. Be true, be you. To dive deep within my own mind and to trust the intuition.